Hey guys, it's Mr. Muck, and I'm just going to go ahead and explain two of these problems, numbers 10 and 11, or 10 and 12 here. They both target decimals and then fractions, and I figured that these would be really good problems for you guys to see, so we can talk about some of the decimal rules and fraction rules, mostly because I couldn't find any videos from Alaska that I had. Still, I think they're someplace else and not on YouTube yet. So let's go ahead and chat about these guys. First one, negative 3.8x minus 5.9x. Both of these are negative terms, okay? Negative 3.8x and negative 5.9x. So we want to combine them, right? We're putting this, and we're going to have a bigger negative number. So it's going to be 5.9 and 3.8. And I'm adding them down. 9 and 8 is 17. Decimal point goes down. 5, 6, 6 and 3 is 9. So I'm going to have 9.7, negative 9.7x equals 223.1. Now, I need to divide, right? I have got negative 9.7 times x equals 223.1. So in order to get the answer here, I've got to divide by negative 9.7. What I do to one side, I have to do the other. Divide by negative 9.7. So these will cancel. Pew! And x is going to equal, right? So the x comes down, the equal sign comes down, and now I have to do this division. I'm doing a positive number divided by a negative number. So my answer is going to be negative, right? Two different. This is positive, this is negative, my answer is going to be negative. Now it's just a matter of doing the division, and I use the space over here on the side. I'm going to do 223, top number, in the box. Bottom number goes outside. And when you're dividing decimals, you really just want to, basically you're multiplying everything by 10 here, right? So I have 97 going into 2,231. Now I haven't done this one yet. Might be my bad. Maybe not. We'll see. So I can round this to 100, right? 97 is pretty close to 100. And 100 doesn't go into 2, 100 doesn't go into 22, 100 does go into 223 though, right? It goes in 2 times. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. I'm going to say 97 times 2 is going to get me pretty close to 223. So 2 times 7 is 14, carry the 1, 2 times 9 is 18, plus 1 is 19. So that gives me 194. So 223 minus 194, 3 minus 4. Can't do it, can I, right? So I have to make this a 1, and this becomes a 13. So 13 minus 4 is 9. I can't take 1 or 9 from 1, so I've got to borrow here. That's a 1. And this is an 11 then. 11 minus 9 is 2. So I get 29. Now I bring down the 1. So how many times does 97 go into 291? And I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, 100 goes into about 303 times. So I'm going to say 3, right? 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 9 is 27 plus 2. Look at that. When you subtract, it gets totally right down to it. And I get this perfect answer of negative 23, which goes and supports what I was saying during the lesson. The math ends up working out for you. Right? You got yourself a whole number answer. An integer answer, negative 23. So now, let's go on to this one. Right? I have fractions. I need some common denominators. I've got 5, 10, and 2. 5 goes into 10, 2 goes into 10. So let's make them all a common denominator of 10. Times 2, times 2. So that's going to be negative 6. Minus 7/10 x plus, and I want 2 times 5, so 5/10 is going to be 1/2 equals negative 56. And now we kind of look at negative 6 and negative 7. That's going to be negative 13/10 x, because I'm combining all my like terms here, plus 5/10 x equals negative 56. Negative 13/10 and positive 5/10, well, that really means we're doing 13 minus 5, right? I've got negative 13, positive 5. I've got more negatives and positives, so I know my answer, and I'm just going to carry it over here. I'm going to have a negative number. 13 minus 5 is 8. So now I've got negative 8/10 x equals negative 56. Now, I like to simplify fractions where I can, and the other thing I'm going to start looking at is this is a negative and this is a negative. So this is going to have to be a positive, right? So it doesn't really matter. I just need to know that my answer is going to be positive now. So if I can simplify this, or I can just go ahead and multiply by the reciprocal, which will be 10/8 multiply by 10/8. Alright, so this will cancel. Negative 10/8, negative 10/8. X equals, now, does 8 go into 56? That's a good question, right? And it just so happens it goes in 7 times. Right? 7. So then 7 times 10 is 70. So you have now as x equals 70. And somebody's playing Hanson Mbop at lunch. That's amazing. So that's everything. That talked about combining the fractions, multiplying by the reciprocal on both sides. We talked about cross-reducing. We talked about dividing decimals. That should be everything that you need for some help right now. And hopefully this now saves correctly and uploads.